All right, this is my module 10 reflection. I really love this chapter. I especially loved reading about the nature of gender in friendships um, because it reminded me, I'm going to connect it to a story. I grew up very, very LDS, very Mormon, right? Um, and I also knew from age 4 that I wasn't heterosexual. I had a really weird relationship with sexuality. I thought I was gay until I was like 13 or 14, and then started to realize, oh, there's some women I'm attracted to as well. And so I was mostly attracted to men my whole life, and once I found out I was attracted to women, immediately started just seeking out women to date because I got along with them better and my emotional needs were met more often by them, which was it was funny to see that in the chapter because it was just it was self-fulfilling. Um, but I think that, I mean, there's a conversation that often happens, and you hear people argue about whether people who are attracted to each other, for this specific example, I'm going to say heterosexual people, can people of the opposite sex be friends with one another? Um, because I think that the thought process is, I think the thought that often comes across is men will only be friends with women they aren't attracted to. Um, and that is why they become friends, right? And there may be some truth to that, that you form friendships with people that you are not attracted to. Um, but I also think that it is a little bit deeper than that. I think that equality plays like gender roles in a society and equality and power structure play a big role in that. Where I think that men feel that they have the ability to make that decision on the friendship. Does that make sense? They have the ability to say in their minds whether it is they don't have the fear of I can just be friends with this person and there's no um, sexual response at all. Where women, I think, often have to fear if I'm going to just be friends with this person and they don't want to just be friends with me, am I going to get harmed? Right? That's just an example of the power imbalances that we talked about in the chapter. Um, I found it hard in the application to define. I have a very unique friendship that I talked about. Me and my childhood best friend, we're still best friends. We both grew up in Provo. Um, I found it hard to really to narrow our relationship down to different dialectics, right? There were some that were really easy. We are both very independent people, and it's created a very independent friendship where we don't rely on each other for all that much outside of just friendship, right? Um, we have become more dependent as we've grown older on conversation and dialogue with each other. But like, there were times when we were teenagers that we didn't talk to each other for months, and then I'd see him, and nothing ever happened, right? And then there was some where it's like it was hard understanding the difference that I was talking about in public and private, the public and private dialectic. Um, I think that I ended up understanding it. Uh, Also, the difference between like ideal and real. The way that I understood it was ideal being the socialized version of friendship that was created, that has been created by society, versus real, which is what is actually happening, what actually happens in a friendship. Where like if you have an ideal friendship, it'll fit the societal needs for friendship, versus a real friendship is very unique and has its own understandings, right? Um, so I found it really difficult to narrow them down, especially with the judgment and acceptance one, because I feel like specifically in that friendship, we have made a friendship where judgment is accepted. Like we judge each other very hard because we understand each other really well, and so when somebody's not acting, not as we expect them to, but as we know they actually are. If somebody's acting weird, we judge each other, right? And we are very quick to correct each other and say, hey, that doesn't, like, you said something mean there. That, like, where did that come from? and we are able to have a dialogue about it. But I don't think that any of us, that either of us have ever felt unaccepted, right? Let me see if I can get that to. Anyway, I don't think that, I think that we both feel very, very accepted, and so I think that the judgment has come because we both feel accepted. I don't know how to explain it other than that, right? There's nothing I've ever been scared to share with him, or I've never feared whether he would accept where I'm at or who I am, but I have also expected that he will push me to be better. If I didn't get better, that's fine, but I know that he would push me to be better. Overall, really interesting chapter. Um, a lot of my chapters have kind of meshed with what they're talking about, or been like the modules have been off a week, and so I've been learning a lot about relationships the last 3 weeks, and this was a really good end to kind of the friendship portion of it.